Let's examine the quantity or kind of CP notices you've received so we can determine how soon the IRS will take significant action. On individual income taxes, the IRS computer typically delivers 500 series reminders, denoted by the number after the date in the upper right-hand corner, around 5 weeks after mailing the Pleasant Bill, CP-14. You have a balance due, you have an amount due, intent to levy, and immediate action is required are all CP-501 codes. You will receive CP-90, final notice, intent to levy, and notice of your right to a hearing in 4 to 8 months. CP-90 typically indicates that your case will be handled by another IRS division. Don't freak out just yet, but be aware that you might not have much time left. The entire cycle takes, on average, 4 to 6 months from the first notice to the final computer-generated letter. This is the safety net before IRS horror stories begin to materialize. Publication 594, the IRS collection process, which is accessible on the IRS website at www.irs.gov, will also be sent to you at some point by the IRS. It outlines all of the legal actions that the IRS may use to recoup money from you. Study it. On payroll taxes, collection efforts may be sped up if you owe business or payroll taxes. Depending on the severity of the delinquency, the IRS frequently cuts the notification period to as little as 8 weeks. In exceptional cases, the IRS may proceed directly from the CP-501, you have a balance due, to the CP-90, final notice, if you failed to file a return or owing $50,000 or more. Or, if the IRS believes that your account is currently uncollectible, that you have passed away, are declaring bankruptcy, or are incarcerated, it may stop sending you notices. The computerized notice cycle being postponed. Respond in writing to each IRS notification if all you're trying to do is buy some more time. Send a letter explaining your financial situation together with the bill. To request an additional 45 days to pay, all you need to do is state your reason. The maximum amount of time that can be entered into the IRS computer to halt the cycle of collection notices is this. Try replying to the subsequent CP notification by asking for an additional 45 days. Send a token contribution with each of your request letters, if you can, to demonstrate that you are making an effort. You should be able to obtain an unauthorized short-term payment plan using this. It might be all you require. Requesting a 45-day postponement might occasionally throw the system off balance. It's been common for taxpayers to go an entire year without hearing from the IRS. It all depends on how well your specific IRS campus operates and how high of a priority your account is given. You can buy some time by responding to the CP series notices, even if you disregard the first few notices. Despite its foreboding title, the IRS CP-90, Final Notice, is not the organization's final warning before initiating action. The next letter, letter 1058, with the numbers in the upper or lower right corner, along with the headings Final Notice, Notice of Intent to Levy, and Notice of Your Right to a Hearing, is the one you should pay close attention to. Please answer right away. This letter demands a prompt response and describes your entitlement to a hearing. Any financial institution suspected of retaining funds under your Social Security number or name, as well as any employer or contractor that filed a W-2 or 1099 form indicating they have previously paid you, may receive levy warnings from the IRS computer if you don't answer within 30 days. Recipients of levy notices must then freeze your account or pay all or a portion of your salary or any amounts owed to you to the IRS. You have the right to challenge an IRS levy, as is covered in more detail in this video series. Additionally, the IRS has the authority to issue Form CP-49, overpaid tax applied to other taxes you owe, and confiscate any unpaid tax refunds. As previously stated, the IRS Automated Collection System, or ACS, will receive your file if you don't make a payment during the IRS computerized CP notification series. The ACS is able to levy, seize, assets and wages in addition to collecting the majority of past due tax bills from taxpayers who haven't submitted their returns yet. A staffed telephone system called the ACS is used to collect accounts that are extremely past due. Only the phone and mail are used by the ACS. When an account calls for phone contact, the ACS computer analyzes it automatically. If the IRS receives a busy signal or no answer, it will automatically dial and redial your phone number. An IRS representative will answer the phone once a contact is made. Your case can stay with the ACS for as long as the IRS still has to collect, which is typically 10 years from the day the tax was first assessed, unless it has enough points to be allocated to a field collector, according to a secret IRS scoring system. Most significantly, whether or not you owe more than $50,000 is the main determining element. Your prior history of tax arrears and the amount of years you have owed taxes are additional point criteria. Even small sums may be submitted to the local office for a revenue officer's attention as your case approaches the conclusion of the 10-year statute of limitations for collection. The IRS's main system for phone and mail trolls is called the ACS. At ACS sites, 150 or more employees are seated in front of computer monitors and using headsets. They react to calls or faxes asking for payment arrangements or more time to pay, following scripts that demand payment from tax debtors. The ACS sends levies and collection letters to employers, banks, and other third parties. Data from ACS computers is frequently wrong. For instance, the ACS routinely asks for tax returns from deceased taxpayers or from women who have filed under a new name after getting married. Call and beg for additional time to pay if you wish to slow down the ACS. A suitable freeze code must be entered into the computer by the collector in order to halt the computerized collecting operation. There are various freeze codes, but the actual information, such as the code designations, the precise amount of codes, and the times when ACS collectors can use them, is not made available to the public. Different freeze codes apply when a person asks for an extension of time to pay, files for bankruptcy, or requests a pause of collection efforts because of hardship. When you enter a freeze code into the computer, all collection efforts on your account are suspended for the amount of time given for that code number, which may be up to a year or longer. During that time, nothing will be done regarding your case, although you can still receive tax bills. Additionally, the IRS will hold on to any tax refunds you are due. When the time limit expires, the computer automatically brings up the case again for additional examination and IRS contact. The majority of the time, you can obtain a brief hold for up to 45 days by just requesting for one. Make your request first over the phone. Additionally, respond to the ACS in writing as a follow-up. It is sufficient to just photocopy the notification you received, Note that you may need up to 45 days to obtain the requisite funds and return the notice. A separate letter is not required. Ask the debt collector to designate your account as currently not collectible or a significant hardship case, and to halt collection efforts for at least a year if you truly are unable to make any monthly payment amount. You must persuade the IRS that you are actually in need, have no assets, no work, or a modest income, and rely mostly on welfare or the goodwill of others to get by. If you keep coming up with excuses, one of them might persuade the collector to ask for permission to enter a long-term hold code. However, IRS collectors are notorious for having short attention spans and being uncaring. The IRS may request that you submit a collection information statement either orally, in writing, or over the phone in order to evaluate if you are eligible for currently not collectible or CNC status. You might be required to file IRS Collection Form 433-F if you are speaking with the IRS over the phone. The IRS will compare your household's monthly income to regional and local requirements for living expenditures. For the most recent figures, see the IRS website. The IRS will classify you as a CNC hardship case if the authorized expense table indicates that your spending exceeds your household income and you have few assets. Expect this decision to take a few weeks or longer. Try one of these strategies if requesting a hold doesn't keep the tax collector's attention for very long. The tax bill's correctness should be questioned. You don't need to say anything more than it doesn't appear right because tax invoices are challenging to understand. An IRS collector must use reasonable forbearance if you cast a question in his or her judgment. This means that no additional collection efforts may be made until the accuracy of the bill has been confirmed. It can take a few days or a few months to complete this. If your request is turned down, request a manager's attention. Contact the Taxpayer Advocate Service if this doesn't work. If anyone doubts you're right, direct them to IRS Policy Statement P516 and Internal Revenue Manual 0018. Make a reasonable compromise offer. While the offer is pending, the IRS typically halts all collection efforts for a period of time that can be as long as 2 years. Declare bankruptcy. This halts all IRS collection efforts immediately. You will get an IRS CP 4624C letter informing you that your case has been temporarily closed if CNC status is granted. This does not imply that the IRS or the outstanding balance will never return. Being in CNC status merely means that you are exempt from payment obligations and that the IRS won't conduct any coercive collection measures against you, such as levies on your bank accounts. The IRS may place a federal tax lien against you, but the 10-year statute of limitations on collections continues to run along with interest and penalties. If the IRS rejects your application for CNC status, it will require either an installment payment plan or the liquidation of all assets. If you disagree, get in touch with the IRS and provide any more data that may support a CNC or ask for lower monthly payments. A yearly IRS evaluation of changes to your financial condition is required to maintain your status as currently not collectible.